What's going on, everyone? My name is SiahZ and welcome to our updated critical infinity infusion Amazon Huntress build. Now, this build is absolutely insane, being able to have a million DPS in its current state and when bossing, have really good clear as well, and the best part about it is it's an off meta build, so it's going to be much cheaper to buy the items and go into it, especially the weapon, because we're not running the meta stuff that everybody's running on Huntress at the current state of the game. Overall, I'm really in love with this build, and I have yet to even see a build come close to the DPS numbers we're doing on bossing, as you guys seen at the start of the showcase, and overall, I think you guys are really going to like it. I'm going to cover everything you guys need to know throughout the build in this video. Before we get into that, if you guys do enjoy the build guides or you're liking what I'm doing on my YouTube channel, if you consider hitting a like on the video and a subscribe to the channel, it does help me out immensely, and it also really does help with the YouTube algorithm, and in turn, that is the best way to support me. I also should be live right now streaming the build, so if you guys have any questions or you want to vibe with me, the link for that will be in the description as well as the comment section of the video. All right, let's get right into it. So first thing we're going to cover is the gear. So the way that we're basically chain looping the infused weapon on the Amazon Ascendancy to get these infusions if we consume a frenzy, power, or endurance charge is pretty simple. We run red flare conduit, which is a body armor. This will allow our hits to have a 20% chance of generating a power charge, and whenever we actually go and consume that power charge, we'll get the infusion. Now, obviously, how do we consume it? Now, we're going to be running Choir of the Storm. This is a really good amulet for multiple reasons. One, it's going to give us a lightning bolt, which will allow us to put potent support in the skill gems, which I'll get into after the gear. Basically, what that does is when we call the lightning bolt down, it'll hit an enemy. If we have a power charge, it will actually consume that power charge. So we're getting basically infinite charge generation and consumption, with both of these going in tandem with each other. Also, the amulet is really good on top of that because it has critical hits ignore enemy monster lightning resistances, and since shock burst rounds and our galvanic shards is lightning damage, we will do much more damage because of that, and we don't have to worry about lightning pen. As for the crossbow, it really doesn't matter what base type you get here, just get the best one you possibly can roll with physical accuracy, and then if you can also roll attack speed, that is going to be more beneficial, and those are like the three best stats to look for on a crossbow, since we are trying to accuracy stack and go into that critical strike on the Amazon Ascendancy node, and overall we're going to get a lot of good added stuff because we're accuracy stacking. So that's why we want to look for those three on a crossbow. I'm throwing accuracy runes actually in here because, again, since we're accuracy stacking and we're going into penetrate, we're going to get physical damage based on 25% of our accuracy rating on our main weapon, which is this crossbow. So the runes will take effect of that and increase it. Outside sources like rings and throwing it on your helmet, stuff like that, doesn't increase it. So the runes, obviously throwing it on the weapon, is going to give us a lot more physical damage. So that's why we do it there. For the helmet, we are running a Deerstalker hood. You just want to look for a really good base hood with high evasion, obviously looking for reses, life. If you can roll like Dex on, it's nice because we can throw int, because we are going to need about 180 int with this build to actually run the lightning bolt from Choir of the Storm and throw the amulet on. And then also accuracy, also if you can roll on the gear, it will give us a lot more damage since we are accuracy stacking with the Amazon Ascendancy. So that's what I look for in gear when I'm buying it. Same thing for the boots. I'm just looking for high base evasion boots, looking for high move speed as possible. And I'm just trying to roll as much reses on here, so this way we can make up for the loss of reses in like the amulet and the body armor and stuff like that. And that's way that'll, like I said, make up for it. For the belt, we are running a Brenevis. Hopefully I pronounced that right. The reason why this is so important is because with red flare, once we reach our maximum power charges, it will actually reflect the shock back into us. So that's no good. We don't want that to happen. And since we are running overcharge as well in the tree, they made it to where overcharge support will, on top of, increasing the magnitude of shock, it will reflect it back to you. So having this belt will allow us to basically be immune to shock. So the red flare and the overcharge support won't be reflected to us and we can't be shocked, which also means we can run shocked ground maps and endgame and stuff like that. And overall, it's a really great belt. For the gloves, again, we're just looking for intelligence on here, keeping reses, stuff like that, high energy shield base, because you can't roll intelligence on evasion. That's what we're looking for, because like I said, again, we need that 180 intelligence to run the amulet and stuff like that. So we need to be rolling intelligence on our gloves as well as on our rings. For the rings, we are running an emerald ring. If you can get both of them emerald with keeping like good reses, that's going to be more beneficial because emeralds have accuracy rating on the implicit, meaning obviously it inherently has it, and you could roll accuracy on the ring as well, double stacking, basically double dipping into that, giving us a lot more damage. So that's why emeralds are going to be best in slot here. But for this ring, again, it's an emerald, just looking for high accuracy, going with intelligence on one or strength or something like that. So this way, you know, you can throw intelligence on the tree so we can make up for that requirement for this amulet. And then again, just looking for fire res, you know, other attributes and stuff like that, just to keep res cap. Same thing with the other ring. This one I decided to go with intelligence and really just high accuracy with reses, so this way we can be close to the res cap as possible. Again, if this was an emerald ring, this would be even better, but it's a ruby ring, so at least it gives us something. Now we can get into the gems. So for lightning bolt, remember this is one we're running by our unique amulet. We're going to be running potential in here. This is going to allow us to basically consume power charges whenever we cast the lightning bolt down. And since this is cast, and when we actually crit, we're always going to be basically casting this down, consuming power charges, getting our infused weapons up. Overall, really good quality of life, helps with clearing, and it adds a good amount of boss DPS as well. From here, we're going to be supporting that with conduction. I have 100% more chance to shock, overcharge for that increased magnitude of shock, and lightning exposure to actually apply it. And this is going to be our main basically shock skill that we're going to just go in, you know, throw our connectivity and mark on an enemy, and then just shoot with our shock burst rounds until our lightning bolt shocks the enemy, and then that's when our damage will really start to go. We did try going with like backbar bows and other stuff with like Stormcaller arrow, but I kind of felt weird running a bow, plus it relies on the bow's damage, right? It doesn't scale that well. I've been doing lightning bolt, it's been fine thus far, so I haven't had any complaints. If we run into issues, obviously I'll make changes and update the guide. From here, infused weapon, we're going to be supporting that with primal armament. This way it'll have more elemental damage. Ice bite again, because we're running power charges, so we're going to get that cold damage, and we want to have as much cold damage as possible. So that's good there. So it'll get more cold damage when we basically attack, kill a frozen enemy. Then we're running long shot to have 30% more attack damage to enemies further away than us than 7 meters. Since we're, you know, killing packs and shooting our galvanic shards basically almost off screen, this is going to take full effect, so it's good there. Then we have execute on here. This is going to allow our infused weapons to have 50% more damage with hits against enemies that are on low life. And since, you know, we're going to be going through, we want to have this have as much damage as possible, since we're constantly casting for AoE. This is just going to allow us to get a lot more damage there and have a lot better clear. Then we get into shock burst rounds as our main damage bossing skill. Obviously, if you can throw quality on it, go for it. I just couldn't, obviously trying to corrupt and get 4 links. We want martial temp but have more attack speed, since we want to be shooting this out as fast as possible. Then we're going to running elemental focus to have 25% more elemental damage. Doesn't matter that we can't inflict ailments here. Then we have conk effect to have 30% more area damage, since its skill does count as an AoE. And the last thing we're running is pinpoint critical. Now the reason why we don't run like fresh clip is because I think fresh clip is bugged. It does not increase DPS on the tooltip, nor if you like unsocket a gem and resocket it in, sometimes that fixes it. Nothing was worked. I don't see any damage being increased on there, so I don't know if the actual gem itself, support gem, is being, you know, giving us DPS. So I went ahead and just threw pinpoint in there. It's going to give us a lot more crit chance. It does lower the crit damage, but we're basically going to be critting with every attack or every other attack, and since we're shooting, you know, 18 rounds basically, it's going to be insane. A lot of crits there. We can take full advantage of just crit damage stacking. For galvanic shards is our main AoE clearing. We're going to be running fork in it to have better clear on it. Nimble reload because it has a long reload time, so this just helps us shoot more often. We're running rising tempest because this is going to give us 12% more elemental damage for each skill used. Since we're proccing infused weapon with cold, and we're using this as a lightning skill, that's going to be 24% more elemental damage, so there's no reason not to run this. Then we're going to be running close combat on it because we do have enemies sometimes running in our face, so this is going to allow us to have more attack damage to kill them quicker. Then we're going to Herald of Thunder. We are going to be running Enervate on it, so it'll have more lightning damage when it kills the shocked enemy. Lightning penetration, have better pen on the lightning bolts coming down, and then lightning infusion, have more lightning damage overall. This really does help with clearing and stuff like that. Then we have Wind Dancer, obviously just throwing precision on here since we are accuracy stacking. This is going to allow us to get more accuracy going in for crit and fizz damage from the Ascendancy. Then we get in the War Banner. I was testing with like Herald of Ice, and you can run that if you want to have better clear. The War Banner does give us obviously more attack damage plus increased accuracy rating, which means more crit, more all that. Well, more crit, not more fizz, because fizz plays off of our main hand accuracy on our weapon. But yeah, more crit from the Ascendancy. Obviously the attack damage is good, and this does allow us to get more damage overall. We are running magnified effect in this. Then we get a conductivity. Again, this is how we're gonna negative the lightning res of the enemy and pen into the negative. Then we're going to be running Cursed Ground on it, so this way it'll turn into like a persisting AoE skill. So if enemies walk into it, they get immediately cursed instead of us having to pop it on them and keep them into the, you know, circle until it goes off. Then we have Heightened Curse to increase the magnitude of what the actual thing does, so even further negative resistances on the enemy. And then Ritualistic Curse, this way it has a bigger AoE. Then we have Voltaic Mark. This is going to give us increased basically effect of the marked enemy, which basically means it's going to give us more shock magnitude and a better chance to shock, which is really good overall since we get a ton of damage out of actually shocking the enemy. And then we throw persistence on here to have more duration of our mark. And then finally, we do emergency reload. There's no reason not to. This is going to give us like 30% more damage. So basically all we're going to do is just shoot a clip out, immediately hit emergency reload. We get 30% more damage and we're instantly reloaded going into another clip. It really does up the kill time and the DPS of shock burst rounds when we're bossing. And that pretty much covers it for the skill gems. Now onto the tree. We're going to do Ascendancy first. We're going to go into an elemental infusion, obviously to get an infused weapon, since we are, generating power charges and consuming them with Cry of the Store. So we obviously want to be having this so we can take full effect of it. That's why we run this. Really does help for clearing as well. Then obviously, since we're accuracy stacking, we're going to go in critical strike. Like I said, this will give our excess chance to hit, 25% of that to be critical hit chance, which is absolutely amazing. Gives us a lot more there. And then we're going to be going into penetrate. This will basically do 25% of the accuracy rating we have on our weapon will be added as physical damage, which again is really huge, especially if you get like a T10, T11, accuracy roll. Then you throw accuracy runes on with a good bow. It's going to be a mega amount of DPS. And then finally, the last 2 points, I would probably go into predatory instinct. This way we can obviously get 50% more damage against enemies with open weaknesses. And this overall would just be a lot more damage. Then we get into the skill tree. We're basically just going to path into primal instincts into Eagle Eye. Eagle Eye is good because obviously it's increased accuracy rating and flat. Then we're going to go into precision salvo. Again, a lot of attack speed and accuracy rating. So there's no reason really not to go into this. We actually are going to be going into cook. They changed it, so it doesn't really do like flash effects anymore. It just gives you straight up critical damage. It will reduce global defenses. So if you guys are feeling like squishy, you could drop cooked and get more defenses there. But overall, you do get a lot of critical damage for it. So that's why we went into it. We're going to be putting 2 points into escape velocity. No reason not to. More move speed and evasion rating. Then we're going to come down and put 2 points into catalyst. This is going to give us more elemental damage with attacks. Stand and deliver, obviously, because it's going to be more damage the closer we are to enemies, and we're always going to be basically butt up against them, as well as more crit damage. Then we're coming down and taking frazzled. The magnitude of shock we inflict that we get out of here is going to give us a lot more DPS and almost anything in the tree. So this is why we take it. It's just so much, like I said, DPS added. Going into maiming strike, obviously, the increased attack damage we get and chance to maim is really nice. Finally, we're going to come down and head up and take Coming Calamity, since we can get that increased lightning damage while affected by a herald. Plus the 2 nodes persisting before it is going to be really good. It's 24% increased damage. Then we're going to come up obviously and take this full like almost crit cluster going into Heartbreaking. 35% increased crit damage bonus and 10 strength is really huge, especially struck through is the 1% crit chance added to the base. Now you would want to go into Heart Stopping, but we anointed our amulet with Heart Stopping, so that's why we took these 2 points out. But you would put them into it so this way you can get that increased crit chance and intelligence. From there, I wanted to come and get more evasion, so I wanted to enhance reflexes, plus the increased dex is nice. Then I just passed over through proficiency, going into nearsighted, so this way we can get a lot more accuracy rating at close range. Then we're going to basically come up from there, head all the way up and take Wildstorm. The 15% more maximum elemental damage you get, or not elemental, but lightning damage you get is absolutely huge. This is going to allow us obviously to roll higher numbers, which means a lot more DPS. Finally, I'm starting to take these nodes. I'm probably going to go into Spectral Ward just to get a lot more evasion rating and energy shield to try to have like 200-300 energy shield, and then try to pump the life up to close to 2k for better survivability. But I did come down and took True Strike because the increased crit chance and dex is really nice. For the jugular, again, more crit damage and intelligence, but the main reason why I wanted to come over here was to take these damage on criticals and deadly force. There's like 70% increased damage if we've done a crit, which obviously we always are critting. Plus the increased crit chance on the final for deadly force is really nice. From there, actually, we're going all the way down, so we're going to be taking acceleration. This is going to give us more skill speed and movement speed, and skill speed just acts as like attack speed, cast speed, stuff like that. So overall, just a lot of stuff there, and especially since we want to have a lot of attack speed, it's really nice. Then we're going to be going into Falcon Dive again, since we're accuracy stacking. We're going to get a good amount of attack speed increase. Then we're basically just going to go all the way down, and I'm starting to path and going into Lightning Rod because I forgot that they changed this. It used to be with non-crits, but now it's with anything. And obviously, since we're critting and we have 30% chance to have lucky hits with lightning damage, is absolutely massive. If you guys don't know what lucky hits do, basically just picture it. It's simple as this. Just say you have a damage roll of 1,000 to 5,000, right? You can roll in between any of there. What lucky hits will do is it'll make you roll twice, meaning obviously it'll pick the higher number. So on average, we're just getting more damage, like guaranteed. So it's absolutely massive, and since lightning damage has such a small minimum to maximum value, this is super good the more lightning damage we accumulate. Then after this, on the mobalytics guide, I will go ahead and put some more points in like level 90, 92. Currently we are 84, doing like T15s, T16s, but yeah, I'll go ahead and update that. For the jewels that you want to run, I'm looking for like crit damage, projectile damage, stuff like that, but I'm mainly trying to roll a lot of crit damage on jewels, and then other stuff like attack speed would probably be best, or you know, damage with crossbows or projectile damage, something like that as well. But I feel like crit damage and attack speed are the two stats we pretty much want to get on all of our jewels. And that pretty much covers the tree and the jewels, the gear, the skill gems, and all that. Like I said, the build's absolutely amazing, doing over 1 million damage when we're bossing. It's really great clear. It's an off-meta build. It's going to be cheaper than like doing Spear Huntress and Amazon and stuff like that. And overall, the build is a ton of fun. I'm personally really loving it, and I think you guys will as well. Obviously, if you did enjoy the build guide and you found it informative, or you like what I'm doing on my channel, you consider hitting a like on the video and a subscribe to the YouTube channel. It does help me out immensely, and it really does help with the YouTube algorithm. And like I said earlier in the video, that is the best way to support me right now. I also am live streaming right now on YouTube and Twitch. The link for those will be in the description as well as the comment section. If you guys have any questions about the build or anything like that, or you want to see in the action, you can come over there. But anyways, hope you guys have a great rest of your day or night, depending on when you're watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.